Hello guys and welcome back to the RS Weekly podcast sponsored by sixmedia.co.uk. We've got me and we've got Sam.
Yep.
And we've got a special guest in the form of Karl Morgan today. Everybody give him a round of applause.
Hey! Give yourself a round of applause as well.
I'll give myself one.
Pat on the old back.
Yeah, we wanted to get Karl on for quite a while and here he is.
He's been pestering us for a long time. But
No, in all fairness, I've been promising him for ages that he can come on. So today is that day. Now this is going to be a Leeds United based podcast.
Yep.
Aye. So
massive
plenty to frigging talk about with Leeds, isn't there?
Yeah, always plenty of stories, mate. Always plenty of stories. So I'll ask you a question to start with. How do you feel about Leeds being back in the Premier League? Bit of a stupid question, but
I still haven't even settled down in my head that they're back in the Premier League yet. I just can't believe it. Like after all this time we've been away from the league, I think we deserve it this year. Like last year I thought we deserved it most of the year, but obviously we just crumbled. Like obviously classic Leeds in it, but this year we've just I thought we was going to crumble when we played against Forest. I thought that was it. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
And then we kind of just after that game we just came back and absolutely smashed everybody.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, how Leeds have played this year, I think they've learnt a lot of harsh lessons from last year, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's the way it looked to me. Because apart from maybe just after Christmas, they had a little bit of a blip, didn't they?
Yeah.
2 or 3 games from what I can remember. But Leeds have just powered home this year. Really have powered home. And it's good 16 long years.
I was about to say that, 16 long years from the Premier League.
Very, very long time for a club the size of Leeds United.
I mean, I remember growing up as a Leeds fan. Obviously, my old man's a Leeds fan. I remember the likes of Alan Smith, Viduka, Robertson, Ian Hart, David Batty.
All great players.
Yeah, all them. That's what I watched as a kid, as a Leeds fan. And then when Leeds went into liquidation, it was kind of like
seeing players playing for the club who realistically should never even wore the shirt.
No.
We've had a lot of players like that, but won't change anything. I mean, it's been, I'd say now looking back on it, it's been a good 16 years, a lot of ups and more downs and ups. But
I think it's definitely, I don't know, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's grounded a lot of Leeds fans. From being in the Premier League for a long, long time, going through those trials and tribulations, as we all know Leeds have had plenty of them. I think that'll definitely stand you in good stead going forward. Because Leeds fans know what it's like to suffer now.
The thing is, Leeds,
I don't mean that in a horrible way, but it's true, isn't it?
The thing is, Leeds
know what it's like to suffer
Leeds
now.
is such a big club, and they've been in. A team like Leeds should never have been in League One. Never. I mean, they have 40,000 a week at Leeds.
We had in the Championship, if I remember rightly, I think we got that. I think it was 10-point deduction in that season.
Yeah, I remember.
And then, obviously, with the following season, a couple of months later, we had a 15-point deduction in League One. And that year, we got to the playoff final, I believe.
Well,
against
Doncaster. Doncaster, yeah, that was it. Yeah, Doncaster.
And we lost. But if we didn't have them 15 off, we would have been up that season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the
By a mile.
Because the first game, I believe, was Tranmere away. And I think we had like Teresa Candle playing for us then. And I believe he scored as well. He was a good player, actually, in that league. But it's just it's the same again. But realistically, players like that should have never been playing for Leeds.
No.
Historically.
I know. I remember. I'm trying to remember.
It was a bit of pill to swallow.
I can imagine. Yeah, definitely bitter. I mean, I remember going with Leeds. I went to the away game at Ellen Road when I was following Scunny. And I think it finished 3-2, 4-2. I think Betford got a couple. Yeah. And that was in League One. But I mean, even then, like Leeds always, there was the strongest team in the league. I'm not sure if you won the league that year.
No,
Can't remember.
The year we went up in League One, 2010, I think, and we finished second because we beat Bristol Rovers on the last game of the season. That's what I can't remember if it was Norwich who were in League One and won the league.
I do remember
possibly
Beckford scoring against Norwich. I do remember that. I think it was like the second last game of the season.
Because it was the same season when we famously knocked Man United out. Beckford scored at Stretford End, which is now called the Beckford End, by the way. All the league.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Kill a few next season.
Okay. Why did we ask him on, Sam? I'm joking.
That's how much. That's all I've had to look forward to. You see, these last 2 years. That's it. We can celebrate.
10 years I've been waiting for that.
Good old Beckford.
Let's go on to Leeds managers before we get on to the main man himself. Leeds have had some absolute honker managers through this
Dave Hockaday.
Yeah. Classic Chileno. That's what I'll say.
Chileno.
Classic Chileno.
Wow.
I heard a lot of stories about Chileno before he took over, but I didn't I say I didn't realise how bad he was. He was bad, but a couple of ways he did make some things a little bit better, but 95% of them he did a lot of bad things for the club. But he did help kind of steady it a tiny bit, but then some of the things he did was just stupid. Like, I can't remember what number it was, but he took one of the clubs he was at, he took that same number out of every seat in the stand. They did that, they retired the shirts and everything. He's so superstitious.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's strange.
It was the same. I think the number, what he didn't like, I think Paddy Kenny had it when he was at Leeds and he made him retire the number or just not have the number at all. It was something daft like that because he's so superstitious.
That's crazy. I mean, he is batshit crazy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Chileno, he's proper strange guy.
He is looking at getting back in, I think it's with Birmingham, I think. I was looking at buying Birmingham
almighty.
when I was looking at the other week. So I think Birmingham's in a bit of trouble anyway, aren't they? So,
Yeah.
Chef Wednesday as well.
Chef
Wednesday,
Another one, 12-point deduction they're going to start the season with.
Because he's back at with the Serie A club, I think, isn't he?
Well, I know he was an owner. I think it might have been Cagliari.
Yeah,
That he was the owner of. Yeah. He was. I'm not sure if he still is. I haven't heard anything from him for years since he left Leeds. But it does make you wonder how people like that can pass a fit and proper owners test.
Yeah.
Does it not make you wonder? In fact, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure they brought that in because of Chileno. I could be wrong on that. I would have to look at that, but
I think you're on the right line there. I think because I remember they did do a bit of background looking into him because of his history and that. But we've had some speak that with managers. I mean, Chileno been playing Hockaday. I mean,
yeah.
What I thought was going to do well was Rosler when we got Rosler.
I was about to say who gave
I thought he was going to do well.
I thought he was class.
I think he's a better manager than people give him credit for. I think he did a bloody good job with Brentford, where they was at the time, to get them going up the league, and he did a good job with Brentford. And now look at him, it's people like him that put the starting blocks in place.
I think the thing with Leeds is it's the thing of the big club. We're a big club, but obviously we went down to League One, so it wasn't a big club. But because we've got a big stadium, big massive fan base, that's why everybody sees us as a big club because of our history and stuff. But I just think, I don't know, it's difficult to get out in words sometimes what your feelings about Leeds. It really is. But a manager who I actually liked was Thomas Christensen. Yes. I actually quite liked him. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
For what we had, there was a bit of mixed reviews about him. Like, he started off, he won the fans over well, and then he kind of lost a bit of belief in everyone. But I actually quite liked him. I thought he was all right.
I think the problem is at Leeds, I actually think that some of the managers you had in that time were pretty decent, but they was not given any time whatsoever.
And the club was, I don't think, maybe like I was saying, that being the size of the club, maybe they couldn't handle the pressure, even though it wasn't as much pressure, if you were me. But I think the thing of Leeds United, it's like, every season they say we've got to be aiming for promotion this season. But realistically, we were a 14th, 15th place championship side. That was us, at the end of the day. That's the players we had. It's just some of them you wouldn't even think could get into a Leeds United team. It's mad. It's mad.
I remember watching. So if we're gonna go back a bit further, I remember. So I can't remember what player it was. I only watched it not so long ago, and they was talking about David O'Leary.
Yeah.
And they were saying it annoyed because Leeds had a brilliant season that year when they got to the was it the quarterfinals, semi-finals of the Champions League.
Yeah.
And he said that O'Leary was one of the most frustrating managers, and he said he's very overrated because the team did that work. He said he wasn't great tactically. He wasn't a brilliant man manager. It was the team that he had at the time. And I thought that was a little bit harsh. But then you look at the managers, like, what's he done since? Nothing, really.
Well, I think he's only had Villa job since, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah, David O'Leary.
I know he was
But
managing out in India for a few years.
there's a bit of a thing with Leeds fans with David O'Leary. I admit I was a massive O'Leary fan, but that's because when I first started supporting Leeds, we was in fucking UEFA Cup, you know what I mean, Champions League, you know what I mean, was in everything like that. Obviously was doing well in the league, but I think he wasn't given enough time. Like, I think this is where we have a big debate amongst us Leeds fans, where some people think he was a pile of crap, and you know what I mean, other people think he was brilliant. I thought he was a good manager. That was my opinion. It's not saying it's the right opinion, but I thought he was brilliant. Like what he did, I think when they sacked him, I'm not exact position, but I think we was round about 5th or something daft like that. And I think Ridsdale was wanting more. And to be honest with you, I'll get onto Ridsdale in a bit because I can talk about him all day. He's a complete toss.
Yeah,
absolute toss.
Not the best, is he? Not the best.
For me, like with O'Leary, I think he wasn't given enough time. Like I think obviously the expectation of us getting to the Champions League semi-final and getting knocked out, I think we maybe thought trying to get a bit too ahead of ourselves.
Who took over after O'Leary? Yeah, because
that's a good question. I can't remember. It was. I know we started going on the downfall, didn't we?
I'm just trying to remember who it was, because I remember growing up watching football, and obviously I've been a United fan since I could walk and talk.
I can't remember if it was Terry Venables. Well, we had Terry Venables in the 2003 season, I believe.
Yeah,
2002, 2003. So I think it might have been Terry Venables.
Eltel.
Good old Eltel. But we had Peter Reid, didn't we?
Yeah. I remember Peter Reid.
And him and Viduka had a bit of beef, them 2 days, which I never knew about till only like 4 or 5 weeks ago. I actually read that from something Viduka put on the internet. And then Eddie Gray took over.
I remember Eddie Gray. I can't remember
if we went down with Eddie Gray.
I think
as
it
a
might have
caretaker
been
manager.
Because I remember a game. Don't ask me why. I remember. I think you took a right pasting at home to. I think it was Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think it might have been 4 or 5-0 at home, but that was the season you went down.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things that happened in that season that just contributed to everything. Really, I think it was just a combination of everything, and I think that was time. That was kind of Leeds' time to go.
Yeah.
But even I remember thinking, Christ, that club should not be going down from the Premier League.
All Ridsdale's fault. That's what the money he spent was ridiculous. Like, just not even on players. Like he was spending like £300 a week just on goldfish. It might have even been more. Something daft, like just little things like that. He was just spending unnecessarily on things, and obviously the players and stuff he brought in, he spent quite a lot of money on. I think they were just trying to chase after something what I probably think we just couldn't get. I think that's what it was.
It's very strange. It's a strange football club, Leeds. Look, and even the most ardent of United fans will admit that Leeds is like a huge club and a brilliant rivalry as well. And I personally can't wait for this season because it gives that old-fashioned Premier League feel to it.
I think whether you hate Leeds or you love Leeds, I think the Premier League needs Leeds. I think
100%.
The same as like teams like Aston Villa and stuff who's traditionally been there. You know what I mean? You might not like whoever, but like the Premier League needs the teams like that. Like it was nice to see like Bournemouth and that come up, but they're not, for me, they're not a Premier League side. You know what I mean? I think I'm working on tradition. Obviously, I know.
I understand where you're coming from. I think I always try to look at it this way: they're a Premier League team, but not a Premier League club.
Yeah. And
I think that's the difference, isn't it? Leeds, over the last few years, has been a Premier League club, but not a Premier League team, and that's the standards.
That's why it's so hard to watch.
Yeah.
It's been so. I say it's been hard to watch. It's been a bit of a roller coaster to watch. That's probably the word I could use.
I think that definitely describes Leeds United. Done it roller coaster.
Yeah, definitely.
But the main man, Marcelo Bielsa.
What a legend! What an absolute legend!
Wow!
Leeds fans
I mean, I could not believe it when I saw that come through on Sky Sports. I thought someone were playing a bloody prank on me. I thought, you've got Marcelo Bielsa. I thought, this is the guy when Ferguson was in charge of United. he made us look bloody stupid with Athletic Bilbao. And we got some right stick that season for going out the Champions League. But I thought that team he had and the way he got them to play, and they just pressed the death out of us.
I don't know what it is like. I think Leeds has got to be his perfect accomplishment, because when he took over at Leeds, I can't remember the exact position. Maybe we finished. It was between 13th and 16th. We finished that season, and we brought Bielsa in, and he barely brought anyone in. Like the players we had, like I'll be one to say I hated Calvin Phillips. Like all the managers we had, like Gary Monk, everyone who was bringing him through. Excuse me, they were all raving about him, and they all used to play him either centre mid or in the number 10 role. He played a lot of football in number 10 role, and I didn't like him. He couldn't whip a ball in the box from corners. I just didn't like him, and when Bielsa came in and put him as a central defensive midfielder, I think his first act was actually put him at centre back in one of the games, and he had a good game. And now I love him. The central defensive mid, I think he's class. Like I just think he's Premier League ready. I definitely think he's Premier League ready. I think
he's going to be one to watch next season, Calvin Phillips.
I think there's going to be a few midfielders next season that are going to know that you've been in a game when you play against Calvin Phillips.
I mean, look at Leeds when they played Arsenal. Leeds just
I'll be honest.
Everything.
I mean, I watched the game, and for the first half, I thought, Christ, Leeds should be 2 or 3 up.
Exactly. Leeds battered them.
But it's the way Bielsa sets out again, like against Arsenal. We could have easily just changed our shape, sat back, but especially the first half, we should have been about 4-0 up at half time in that game. Like the amount of pressing we did, and we had a few chances in that half as well. We just obviously didn't take them. That's usually been the story of our thing, but it's the way Bielsa sets us up. That's why I'm excited to see us this season. I think it's just every game's going to be the same, because he proved that against Arsenal. We didn't try and sit back against them.
Oh no, I think it would be criminal now for Bielsa to try and change the way that Leeds play. No. To me, I'd probably say Farke with Norwich is a bit of an exception, because I think that's just naive to go through the whole season like that. And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite there, but I think the class of Leeds and the players they've got in that team far surpasses anything that Norwich have got. And I don't think that Farke's as tactically aware as Bielsa is. Yeah. The guys have mastered.
That brings me back to the
craft.
point of like why I think Bielsa's so good, because obviously Phillips I didn't rate. There was Cooper, he wasn't great. Like Cooper got us slated by a lot of Leeds fans, and these last 2 seasons he's been unbelievable. Click's
he's come leaps and bounds under Bielsa.
But the thing is with me, I liked Click anyway to start off with. I think his last game he played for us against Burnley in the Carling Cup. We played away, and then he went out on loan somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but I thought he looked a good player. But since he's come back in the team, like he's apart from, I think it was Derby when he didn't start. He played 89 consecutive games under Bielsa, like championship game. It's mad in a row. He's such a brilliant player. I think he's good enough for the Premier League as well.
Clickers, yeah.
100%.
There's a few players who I think are going to. People might not agree in my opinion, but what I've seen of him, I think Luke Ayling. I think he's going to step up in the Premier League. I've been a massive Ayling fan since he's come in. I think he's brilliant.
Well, I saw him play a long time ago when he first started at Yeovil. And I remember watching him play at Scunny, because I used to go with my granddad. He used to get me a season ticket for a few years. So I thought, I'll go with him. This young lad with short hair, weirdest running style I've ever seen in my life. And it said, come up, Luke Ayling. I thought, I've never heard of this kid before, but I tell you what, he was one of the standout players on the pitch. I can't remember who was playing on the left for Scunny at the time. Didn't give him a sniff. And that was when he was a young lad. Do you know what I mean? He'd only just come through then, and now looking at him at Leeds, I think he's Premier League right back.
When Bielsa came in, Ayling said in an interview, I was watching it on the old Amazon documentary that they did with Leeds, and he said Ayling's always considered himself as a slim lad, and the first thing Bielsa said to him was, "You can lose another 4 to 5 kilo." That's what he said to him straight away.
Jesus.
And he said that has changed. He said it sounds daft, but he said that's changed his game completely because of the amount of running what they do and stuff. But it's just little, like I say, that's why I think Bielsa's so good, just little things like that. But like Alioski, but to be fair, when he came in, when he signed for us, he played as a winger, but he actually played left wing back for Macedonia.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he's fitted into that role. I think he's thrived in that role. Kept Barry Douglas out of the team, which I think is a good player. He doesn't get up and down.
I'll be honest, I was surprised. And I know Wolves, they're well off now, but when they got promoted to the Premier League, I was surprised they didn't keep Barry Douglas because he's got a very good left foot. He's a good fullback. I like him.
He got a lot of goals that season, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Didn't he get about 10 he must be
free kicks, 15, corners and
15 assists, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
He's got a good left foot on him, to be fair. But we've got some good players. Like, the thing is, we have a massive debate about Patrick Bamford, and he's the top scorer at Leeds, and he is frustrating to watch sometimes. But
the thing is with Bamford, mate, he does all the work. He's such a hard working striker.
If you watch him off the ball, he does a lot of running off the ball. But I've always said, like, he's better playing up front with somebody with him. He scores a lot more. When we played at Middlesbrough, I think he scored a hat-trick past us at the Riverside when he played up front with someone.
Played a British
and he is good. Like, but I've always said about Patrick Bamford, I think he's too good for the Championship, obviously when he's playing with the two, but he's not good enough for the Premier League.
It's a kind of in-between, isn't it?
He's not good enough for the Premier League. Like, maybe to come on, do a bit of running, you know what I mean? But he's not going to get you your goals you need from the Premier League.
He's going to get you 20 goals a season in the Premier League, not for a side like
No, I think the problem with Bamford is that he's a good player for Bielsa to have, and he clearly likes him because he plays him. You know, and if Bielsa didn't fancy you, he's a strong enough coach to go, no.
Exactly.
Go take a seat, son.
Bielsa's
you know what I mean?
Stupid, mate.
But I just think, and I agree with Karl, because I always think that Bamford, he's always in that top bracket of Championship striker. You're always going to mention him up there, because he does score goals. He scored goals for Middlesbrough. Do you know what I mean?
He has scored goals for us this season as well.
He's got pedigree, like. I just think the problem is, I don't think the way that Bielsa plays will suit Bamford this coming season, because he's going to find it hard. I mean, he's going to find it hard against top centre-halves.
Like Van Dijk and stuff.
Yeah.
He's going to struggle.
Yeah. I'll go on to signings in a bit, but like I said with Bielsa, I just think he's got this has got to be his biggest achievement with Leeds because of them calibre of players of going from that place in the league to finishing third in last season, obviously not last season before, and then this last season what's just gone, obviously winning the league. We've actually managed to hold on. And like I say, we've learned lessons from.
I think just a quick one before we move on to the signings for Leeds and potentials.
I've got a question for Morgan.
Potential, yeah. I just wanted to say it does speak volumes about Bielsa. Just before we leave this little section, it says a true story about Bielsa that every single place he goes and manages, the team are better off after he's left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Marseille, Athletic Bilbao. I'm trying to remember.
Was it Valencia?
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to remember the club in Argentina.
Oh,
Newell's Old Boys.
He's his icon there, though, isn't he?
That's where Pochettino
was. But I think it speaks volumes about him that he's loved everywhere he goes. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to be accepted by fans like Marseille because they expect a lot.
I think it's hard to be accepted by Leeds as well. I think we try and support a manager as much as we can, but they can turn on you. But I think with Bielsa, you're just in awe of him. When he speaks, you can't understand the word he's saying, but you'll listen. You'll listen.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true. He's just got that. I don't know. You don't see that many people in football who. It's not even a command respect. It's just natural, isn't it? They give natural. You just want to listen to him.
There is them people that you meet, isn't there? And I think even at Sunday, obviously because we all play for the same team. You even find that at Sundays, you can always tell the leaders from everybody else, can't you? There's someone that's going to step up to the plate. And I think Bielsa, he's that figure. When he talks, you listen.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find that with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very often you find them people where if they're talking, you stay quiet.
It's special because he's speaking a foreign language and you're still waiting to listen. You're still intrigued to listen to what his interpreter is going to say.
Yeah.
A lot of the time you could have an interview and you just want to turn it off because you can't be bothered to listen to it. But with Bielsa, you just got the patience to sit and listen because you want to hear what he's got to say.
Yeah, It's quite a special thing to have, really.
It is, mate, it is.
Do you want to fire your question away?
What do you think Leeds' biggest problem was last season? Not pushing for that last playoff.
I think Casilla was the biggest. That might sound harsh, but I had big hopes of him when he came from Real Madrid. I know he wasn't. He did make a few appearances for them and stuff, but in the league and stuff, I think he'd make quite a few. But obviously, he's playing with a different, obviously level back four and stuff, and the whole team there. But he's shite. I'll put it out. I just don't like him. I think the game against Derby in the playoffs proved that because he was playing as a centre back and he made that mistake. Got away with it first time, and then he did it again. Yeah, and they scored past it, and then he tried to do it again 2 minutes later.
Jack Marriott, wasn't it? Yeah. Because I mean, like, I'll start. What a game that was!
Yeah, what a game.
Like, I mean, not for Leeds fans, obviously. For a neutral, me watching it, I thought, what a game of football this is.
From the first leg, I thought we had him. We had him, and then
I did.
And then the second leg, we just obviously famous Leeds United, and it crumbled.
Because I honestly, I think you'd have gone up if you'd have got past Derby. I think you'd have beat Aston Villa. I definitely think you'd have beat them. But I think it's actually done you a favour because it's made you a hell of a lot stronger. Definitely mentally, you can see that this season that Leeds players knew exactly what was expected of them to go up. They know what's required now. And to be honest with you, I think it'd have been a bit of a crime if Derby went up anyway because I don't think they was anywhere. I think they'd have really struggled this year if they'd have gone up.
I do think Cassier is a massive problem. I think he will be sold this summer. I think he will sell him.
He doesn't breed confidence.
So I like that young lad they've got in goal. Is it Meslier? What a kid!
Yeah, we just signed him on a 3-year contract as well. I still think we need another goalkeeper. I think that's as a potential signing. Yeah, there's talk of, is it Romero from Man United?
Yes, brilliant second keeper, mate, for us.
Obviously, Bielsa's been managing in Italy, Argentina, obviously leagues, and obviously Argentina manager, and that, so that might want to bring him to the club.
I'll be honest, I could actually see, because your dad mentioned this yesterday, didn't he, Sam, about potentially Romero. I actually think if we bring Dean Henderson back, that opens the door for Romero to go to Leeds, whether it's on a loan or permanently. Even a loan, I would snap it up if I was Leeds. Probably best backup keeper in the league.
Yeah. No, he is the best backup keeper.
We're blessed to have two goalkeepers like that. Say what you want about De Gea, the guy's he's still a world class goalkeeper. But I just think that'd be a brilliant move.
And I think it'd benefit Meslier as well, because at the end of the day, he's still a young lad, isn't he? He's a good kid. His distribution's brilliant. Like he when we played against Arsenal, that was the first real time we saw him, because obviously Cassier had been playing all season, and I thought he was brilliant. His kicking was spot on all night. That's another thing with Cassier, he can't kick. You know what I mean? I think he's our biggest downfall. I think, but obviously, I think goalkeeper we need to sign. There was been talk of Joe Hart maybe on a free transfer. I don't know if he's gone anywhere now.
Well, he's still a free agent as far as I can.
The thing is with Joe Hart, I think since he's been a bit unlucky. Since Man City, he seems to have been in the spotlight a bit, and he's just kind of lost confidence. I think if Joe Hart had confidence, he's a decent keeper.
I think, look, what Guardiola's done at City is brilliant. Like, say what you want about them. Yes, they've spent a fortune. I get that. You know, people are always going to have that tag. They're always going to, tar them with that brush. But I do think that it was very harsh but necessary with what he did to Joe Hart.
Thing is, Pep knows what he wants. Pep knew what he wanted.
The thing is, right, who can complain and I don't want to move away from Leeds and stuff, but who can complain as a City fan now when you've got Edison?
Exactly.
The guy is literally, he could play outfield, I'm near sure of it. And, I think Joe Hart, I actually think that's affected him more than he's let on with what happened at City, because he was their number one goalkeeper. There was nobody really that was going to challenge him for that number one spot. And I think it's affected him a lot more than he lets on.
I think for a free transfer for Leeds, that could be a good move. Just on wages, I think that could be a good move for both parties. Working as if we couldn't get Romero, but I think he's going to more inclined to go towards Romero from Man United. I think
probably
just because of the Argentina link. I think
possibly,
but I think Ben White's brilliant. I think we need to either sign him, get on with it and do it, or we need to move on, because centre back is a spot we need to improve on this season. Even if we sign Ben White, I think we need another.
I think
we need another.
Liam Cooper's not
I think the
I
intensity
don't think
of
he's
the
on the
Premier
Premier
League
League.
and the intensity of the
standard.
Premier League, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to play all the games.
My dad's always said he's
Don't
never rated Liam Cooper. He never has done, and he never will do.
I think it's a little bit harsh. Like, I think the guy deserves a shot at it because he's
Club
been
captain.
part
Oh,
of
yeah,
the
he's
stellar
club
back
captain,
four for
yeah.
Leeds this season. I do think they need to sign someone to go alongside him, though.
Yeah, I think we've got to look at getting Ben White.
Well, he's looking very,
Yeah.
very well now because Brighton have just signed
I think
Veltman
from
Ajax.
Ajax.
I think-
So.
Ben White needs to come to Leeds instead of all this talk about going to Liverpool or whatever. I don't think he's good enough just yet. He was playing in League One before this season. He's been class for us this season. I think he'll do a good job in the Premier League. I just don't think he'd get the game time required.
You think they're right? If he went to like
Yeah.
United or Liverpool, he won't get game time. You're not going to get over.
The thing
If
is,
you
he'd
go to
probably go
United-
to one of them teams and then be loaned out.
Exactly. You might as well go to Leeds where you know you're going to get played.
We was having this conversation yesterday, Carl, with Sam's dad, obviously, with him being a Leeds fan, and I asked him what he'd do about Ben White. He says, well, look at it this way. Ben White could get a dream move right now, because I think he's good enough.
Yeah.
I do. And he definitely will be, in my opinion.
No, it will be.
But if you get your dream move now, where'd you go? What are you going to do? Sit in the reserves for a year?
You
Exactly.
just waste yourself away.
Yeah,
You're loaned
and
out
why
again.
would you do that when you could go to Leeds and play every week?
Exactly.
Why would you?
Thing is as
That's
well-
that's the way I would look at it. I think now, especially in today's climate with the way it is in football, you've got that many players in the academy that are waiting for a chance. Don't be the kid waiting in line. Be the kid that's going to go out there and scrap for everything and play league football.
Leeds
and he's
fans
done
love him,
that.
mate.
To be
Leeds
fair
fans
to him.
absolutely adore him.
Well, I can see why. He's a very good prospect, mate.
Yeah.
You know, he's a really, really good young centre half.
I think we need another Pablo Hernandez type. Like, we can't rely on him too much because of his age. He's brilliant,
I
and I
love
think he'll be
Pablo
better in the
Hernandez.
Premier League because he was brilliant for Swansea in the Premier League.
He's different, Greg.
He is class, but he's not going to play with the intensity of these games all season. I think we need some take a little bit of pressure off him and buy some. I can't remember his name's right, Almander or something. We're looking at. I can't remember. He's been linked with Man United and he's
Would you
favouring a move over Leeds.
Would
apparently.
you take? I know this is a bit of a long shot, right? But someone that don't really play much at Old Trafford. Would you take someone like Juan Mata?
Yeah, I think it would be a good for us, like especially under Bielsa, because I know he's getting on a bit now, but I think he'd be a perfect fit. And obviously, I'd rather not sign Man United players, but obviously, I think he's a good player. I think he is a good player.
I feel
He's,
really sorry for Mata.
Really
Sorry for Mata. From where his career was going at Chelsea, finishing one of the, I think he was in the top 3 for Players of the year before he signed for United. And I remember we signed him, I think it was like 37 million quid. And I remember watching his first game, we played Cardiff at home. It was I think it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday night game. I went to that game because Ashley Young scored a screamer. And I always remember thinking, he's too good for us at this moment in time. But I think the problem is that we've progressed and he hasn't been given a chance, really. And I think he can count himself really unlucky because he's actually loads better than people give him credit for.
I think he'd be a good signing for us. I don't think he'd come to Leeds, but I think it'd be a good signing. A player you need a bit of flair like that. Do you know what I mean? We need a bit of a flair. Someone who can play in the middle, a bit of flair. I think Click's good enough just to run about and he'll get in the box and stuff like that. But I think we need, as well as Hernandez, we need that creative spark. But I think the main thing has to be a striker. There's all this talk of Cavani coming, and to be honest with you, it's not going to happen. They tried to go for Ibrahimovic, didn't they, in the January transfer when he was in the Championship. Obviously, he chose to go to AC Milan. But I would now look at someone. I'm not sure it's not necessarily the right signing, but I would look at someone because Leeds have talked a lot about Mitrovic coming from Fulham, but I personally would like to see someone like Troy Deeney come. Like, he's going to score goals and he's strong.
What about Callum Wilson from Bournemouth?
Callum Wilson would be a great signing.
Because Newcastle are looking at him as well.
I think he'd get a bigger. Wrong to say because I'm a Leeds fan, but I think he could get a bigger club.
Yeah.
I think he'd be happy to go to a bigger club and sit on the bench somewhere. I think.
I don't know. I feel The only problem is, anybody that signs Callum Wilson, I actually think he'd be a better fit for Leeds. If I'm honest, I actually think he'd be a better fit for Leeds United over somebody like a Newcastle. The only problem is his injury record is terrible. He's had at least one injury every season since Bournemouth got promoted, and he's done cruciates, ankle injuries. It's no good. When you're a player that relies... Because he's not... I said this on the pod, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before. He's not the most technically gifted footballer, but what he will do, he'll run the channels, and he's got that 5-10 yards, just a quick burst of pace, and he can finish. But he's not the most technically gifted. But then again, I do think that he'd be better fit for Leeds.
It would be fit. It'd be perfectly fit for Leeds.
We've got to address the striker situation. I think we need two. I think we need two strikers. Fair play, keep Bamford... he might do a job. You know, he might surprise us, but I think we've got to add that. Like, I think got them. If we can get a couple of decent strikers, I think it'll make us into an even better team than what we already are. Because I think we will surprise a few people in this league if we keep most of the team together. I think we need 5 signings. I'd say 5. I think, and keep the core together. But we've lost Berardi now, so obviously needs another defender.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's a shame, isn't it?
Because he's out of contract as well, so kind of feel for him a bit. I hope Leeds kind of pay him.
Yeah, it shafts him over, really, doesn't it? Because he can't...
He's been our longest serving player now. You think he signed in 2014, I think, when Chilino took over. So it'd be nice
I
to
remember
see
when Leeds signed him.
But nice to see Leeds look after him, because I would like to have seen him sign another contract this year, because he can play anywhere across the back four.
Yeah.
But going back to the strikers, I think Deeney would be a good signing for us if we could get hold of him, but I think maybe someone else might come in for him. It's worth going for someone like that.
I think he can't do any harm. At the end of the day, you know, he is Mr. Watford, and I understand that. And, you know, he's been there quite a lot. I think it's 9-10 years he's been at Watford now. He's been through the mill with them. He didn't look very happy when they went down. He did not look happy at the situation.
I think it was kind of like a goodbye type thing, wasn't it?
It seemed that way. It did seem that way, which is sad, but could be Leeds' game. You never know. Hopefully. I would take him if I was Bielsa, definitely.
I've got one more thing before we move on to whatever we're moving on to next, the quiz or what. What happened to Samuel Sayers? Because I loved him in the Championship.
Well,
he was so good in the Championship.
He started playing under Bielsa. First game Bielsa had in the league was we playing Stoke.
Yeah,
Stoke had just come down from the Premier League, and everyone expected them to tear us a new one.
Battered him 3-0. I remember it.
Battered is not even the word. They didn't get a sniff all game.
I think Leeds, if you want to put it
I
into
remember
words,
that. Wasn't it first game of season?
Yeah, Leeds.
First game of season on Sky.
I'll tell you how you put it. Leeds demolished them.
Yeah,
Stoke had a sniff.
That's when, honestly, I generally thought then we was going to go up. And I know we do that. It's a typical open the day season thing, but I'd not seen us play football like that since I first started watching Leeds. And to be fair, it's probably better football, but obviously it's different calibre of player.
I remember, I think it was Calvin Phillips. Stoke had just bought a Nigerian international, Itebo.
Oh, yeah.
They just bought him, 15 million quid they paid for him, and you're looking at him when he's come off, and he's like, fucking hell, I didn't fancy that.
Yeah.
Leeds were running all over him.
That's what I
They
say.
ran all over him.
Players like under Bielsa, like then, like Phillips, he was just different gravy. It was like watching a new player like I'd never seen. It's like you'd never seen him play before. It was class playing in front. Then, like I say, he's class now. But I am excited for this season. I really am. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. I think the chief executive the other day was talking about finishing in top 6, and I think that's
too far.
Yeah, for me,
too far.
17th is literally that's a good season for us to stay up. You know what I mean,
if Leeds can stay up,
starting block, isn't it?
If Leeds can stay up, that's a bonus for Leeds. Then they can work on where they need to improve.
I think we might finish a bit higher than that, but I think we've
we've
got to set 17. I'm not being funny. Yeah, I'm going to... Sheffield United, you know what I mean? I hate them, obviously, our arch rivals and that, but yeah, they've done a good job in the league, but I think, like now, they're going to get found out this season. So I think they'll struggle big time.
I said to you last week, didn't I? We was having the conversation at football training, and I said I think Sheffield United are going to get found out, because it doesn't matter what league you play in. You can have a good start, you might even have a good season and go up, but eventually teams will watch you and they'll work you out. They'll work out a way. If the other team's got a half decent manager with a bit of a brain, they'll work it out.
I think we're a better footballing team. Well, I think we're a better footballing side than most sides. I think, like obviously, there's people who've got different ways of playing, but I think we're miles better than Sheffield United. And fair play to them this season; they have done well, but I think they've overachieved. And I think next season, I might even eat my words here, but I think they'll go down next season. I'm as confident in saying they'll go down.
Got a bet on it?
I'll put a bet on it. I'll put a tenner on them. I think they'll go down.
I've got a feeling of a confident man here.
Yeah.
I
do generally think they'll go down next season. I think what's his name? Is it Wilder?
Yeah,
he's done a brilliant job there. Like he has done really well with them. But I just think next season they'll go down. I do think we are better than teams like that. Oh.
I think Leeds, and I hope I'm wrong. And even saying as a United fan, I hope I'm wrong. But I think the teams that Leeds could struggle against is teams like a Burnley.
Yeah.
Burnley away.
Yeah. United at Burnley will be horrible.
Because I think it's a completely different style to what Leeds will come up against. Anything like that in the Championship. Burnley are very, very efficient at what they do. They know what they're good at. They can play football. I think it's very harsh, some of the criticism that they get for the way that they play.
I think with Burnley, when you're playing against Burnley, it's like playing against like an upgraded Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Because they've got such big play like Ayala and stuff in the Championship that you kind of struggle to play against teams like that to get your footballing players. I think you're right. Them sort of games we will struggle like Burnley, but I think most teams struggle away at Burnley.
It's not an easy place, is it?
Burnley's a horrible place.
Have we anything else to?
Yes, one more before we move on to the quiz. Fixtures come out. It's the first team looking for.
Man United.
I knew that was coming.
Has to
Or
be.
Sheffield United.
Has to be, doesn't it?
Well, I said when we was in the pub yesterday, I said that the first game I'm looking for, forget Liverpool and City, it's Leeds. That's the first team I'm looking for.
The reason why I'm thinking that, because back in the day when I was young as a kid, but my mum's fella at the time used to take us to Riley's. Obviously, we know the manager and everything quite well. And that, I just used to love it. Man United versus Leeds, it was packed. It was like England at World Cup. Like you just can't move in there. It was brilliant. You had the bloody screen down and everything. Like, just to have that back again. You know what I mean? Like it was brilliant. You know what I mean? It's gonna be. It's good.
I've said to him when we go into Mill Road, it'll be more packed than Liverpool Man United, because Leeds Man United despise each other. Yeah. Like they cannot stand each other.
Like, I think
but
United,
it's a good rivalry.
But it is a very good rivalry.
No, it is. I mean, they've had some brilliant games over the years, and I remember growing up watching Leeds United in the Premiership as it was then. Yeah. Brilliant games of football, but it's like it started the Battle of the Counties, didn't it?
Yeah.
Lancashire, Yorkshire. That's where it kind of started from, and it's kind of obviously because Leeds had their dominance in the 60s and United have had theirs since. And it's just a rivalry that's just developed over the years, and there's not a lot of like between them anyway, because the two sets of fans, I'd probably say Leeds are a bit more rowdy than we are. But
I am looking.
It's a good rivalry. Like, to be fair, when I've been at Ellen Road, when we because Man United fans get a lot of stick for not having good support and stuff at home. But when I've seen them away at Ellen Road, I thought they were brilliant. They didn't shut up all game.
It's one set of fans I'm looking forward to at St James's Park is Leeds fans, because Leeds away fans are probably the best set of away fans in the country. I'd probably say best away fans in the world.
I think you've got to.
And there's no doubt about it. Leeds have probably got the best away fans.
Fair play with obviously going down the leagues and stuff. There was a few fans what drifted away, and I'm glad to say I stuck through the.
You stick through thick and thin, don't you? You stick through thick and thin.
And I know there's going to be a lot of fans coming back now. Obviously, we've seen that last season before. Yeah. So the hype getting better. I think a lot of it was where the club was ran. That's why they stayed away. But I think you can't question Leeds is, especially away. Like everywhere you go is sold out. Everywhere. Go to bloody Plymouth Argyle away and it's just sold out. You know what I mean? You just can't get a ticket.
No.
It's mad.
It is best fans in the world, mate. 100%.
Even if you're a season ticket holder, you're struggling. Like I mean, to get a ticket for an away game.
As much as it kills me to say, mate, Leeds have got the best away fans in the world.
That's one thing I will say.
There is no doubt about it.
It's not being biased. I just generally think we've got to be in the top 10 fans around the world. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but honestly, right, and I'll give you my top 5 from what I've seen. at home games when I've been to watch.
In order.
Starting with number 5.
Make it more difficult. In order.
Yeah. Wow. Leeds, number 1.
Has to be.
Newcastle, number 2. I think United's got a really good
for
away
Liverpool?
following. 3.
Mm-hmm.
Sheff Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
They take a really good following everywhere they go. Everywhere.
Yeah.
I would put Sheff Wednesday, number 4.
See, I know I would have us number 5. I would have Portsmouth if it was me.
No, I just don't. I don't think they might take a decent following to it, but they haven't got the fan base really.
Yeah.
They don't really fill out Fratton Park, which is 20,000. So it's
mad.
Leeds could fill that 40 times over.
Yeah.
100%.
But I think for me, Leeds number 1, Newcastle, United number 3, Sheff Wednesday, and.
Difficult, isn't it?
It is difficult.
There is a few. I'd probably say Liverpool because they take. I mean, they could fill out Anfield. God knows how many times have they got that many fans up and down the country. Yeah, that's my top 5.
Last one then before I go into the quiz.
Yeah.
Where do you think Leeds are going to finish next season?
I'm, like I say, happy with 17th. Depending on the signings, what we get, it's hard to say to me because we haven't made any signings. Now,
if just the team you've got right now,
if it was this squad right now, I would be happy with 12th. I think
pretty average position.
I think if we get a couple of players who have been spoke about, I'd like to see Leeds in top 8. I think that'd be a good. I think it's achievable. Eighth place. I think. Yeah, it's quite achievable.
If I'm honest, I think Leeds are going to be the dark horses next season. I really do. I think they're going to beat some big teams.
Aim for 17th, stay up. That's the aim. That's a successful season for me. If we make a couple of decent signings, I do feel like we can go pushing for eighth place.
Definitely, mate.
So,
are you ready for it, boys? It's quiz time.
It's going to be a frigging stalemate here, isn't it? 0-0. Get no questions right.
Return of the quiz.
Before we do get into the quiz, thanks for coming on and talking about Leeds, mate.
Yeah, massive thank you to Karl.
Thanks
we do appreciate it, mate. We've been wanting to do it for quite a long time, so...
No, thank you for having us.
Yeah, not a problem, mate. Not a problem.
So, Adam's not with us, but he has sent me his results.
How many questions we need?
10, mate. There'll be 10 questions.
You know, can't even count to 10.
Adam would have been with us, but unfortunately he's at work.
Is he dead?
Yeah, I have sent him his. I sent him the questions.
He can't be with us anymore.
No.
See that crisp packet?
I've sent him the quiz questions. He hasn't sent me his answers yet, so he'll have to do them when he listens to them.
Are we ready to go, Samuel?
Are you ready, mate?
Are we ready, Carlos?
Sam, I am ready.
Right, question
Carlos.
number 1. How old is Lewis Hamilton? You get a bonus point if you can get the exact date.
How old is he?
How old is Lewis Hamilton? I want his age. Bonus point if you can get his
date of
birth. Yeah.
Well, I ain't got a clue.
Do you want if he was born by a natural birth or cesarean? Or...
No, I want the day. I want the time.
Was he C-section? No.
No, I want his date of birth. If you can get it, then that's fine. If
I'll be honest.
I'm just going to go for the age.
It was just a bonus question.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue, mate.
No?
I'm not even going to hazard a guess at his date of birth.
Guys in the comment section below can hopefully get that.
Feel free to interact.
Yep.
Bloody notes.
Good at boys.
No, because I'm the right granddad on my phone.
When you like this one, you.
He's like looking at it at
distance
with one finger. One finger.
All right, bloody granddad with technology. Number 2, come on then. Been waiting for you.
Come on.
Name 5 league teams Jimmy Bullard has played for.
Oh,
so I want 5. They have to be league teams.
Not in the Premier League.
No, Premier League, Championship, League 1 and League 2. So I don't want any from the non-league. I want 5 from them.
I don't think I'm going to get 5.
I've got 3 for definite.
You have to get all 5 to get the point.
See, I've got 3 for definite, but I can't remember for the life of me.
You have to give me a couple of minutes on this one.
That's fine.
So 5 teams he's played for.
That he's played for in the league. So Premier League, Championship, League 1, League 2. Don't want none from outside of that 4 English top teams.
You see, I think I've only got 2. I think I've got definitely 1. Yeah, that I'm going to have to just do that, I'm afraid.
I've got 3, but that's all I've got.
Good question, that, Samuel.
Sexual, Sam.
Don't give him too much credit, mate, please.
And his trousers are...
I think your brother will get
Bloody turquoise.
I think your brother will get that question.
Ah, he will.
Good old James.
Football nut.
Can't wait to have him on. You ready, boys?
Yep.
Reese?
Yeah.
Question 3. What is Chesterfield's nickname?
I think I know.
I've got this one.
Can't spell it.
It's alright, as long as you can say it.
I think it's right. Not going for a 0-0 now.
0-0. Shut them out early doors.
Ready for question 4?
Yeah, ready for it?
Yeah.
Who won the Masters in 2018? Golf Masters in 2018.
Wow. Oh, that's annoying.
You see, I'm not a big golf fan, so... I'm just going to
You'll be kicking yourself when you know this, Reese.
I didn't watch all of it. I didn't watch the final day.
You will kick yourself, I promise.
I didn't watch any day, Reese, so that's...
Well, I've got a half head start.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Question 5. Who won the Golden Boot in 2017-18 season? Premier League.
Oh, I think it was...
It's a very trick question. Very trick question, this one.
I think I know it was, but I think...
2017-18.
2017 season.
So it ended in 2018?
Yes. 2017.
Was there 3 of them?
I can't say.
Was there more than one? Just
No.
give us a clue.
No.
No. It was one person.
Right, okay. Yeah, I've got one.
Who it was?
Lee Sharp, put it down.
Lee Chapman!
Yeah.
You ready for
Good
next
old
one?
Yeah, number
Chappers.
6, ready?
Question 6. How big is an Olympic-sized swimming pool?
Oh,
That's a really good question. Balls. I've seen it as well. I remember watching it at the Olympics and that.
I'm shite with all my measurements. And
Right.
that's completely
I'm going to have a guess at this, but I'm going to kick myself if it's wrong. Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay.
I'm ready yet?
Yep. Question 7. What team won the 2020 Super Bowl Cup?
The Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
Christ.
I don't even watch it. But we'll have a guess.
I've got 2 in mind.
Put your first one down.
I could be
And you'll
completely
kick yourself.
wrong with both of these, by the way, but I've got 2 teams in my head.
I'm not entirely sure what I've put as a team, but
Alright.
we'll go for it. We'll go for it.
I don't even know if they're a team.
You ready for next one?
That's
I
good.
don't
That was
watch that
class.
shite.
Next
That
one.
was class.
Question 8. What is Notts County's ground called?
Oh, I've got
I
this one.
think it's this.
Well, I know what it was called. I don't know if it's still called the same thing, but
Yeah, well,
Put it
we're having a point.
we're having
If we
it.
get it right.
Next
I'm
one.
ready for the
Yep.
next one.
Question 9. Who has won the most rugby Grand Slams? So who's won the most Grand Slams?
I ain't got a clue.
I'll give you a clue, it's the Six Nations. That's all I'm giving you. So who's won the most Six Nations? You'll kick yourself if you don't get it, I promise.
I don't know if they're playing it. But
I know
we'll
it's
have a
one. I know
guess.
it's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I know. I know the
We'll
2
have a-
teams that it's going to be.
We'll have a guess though. Number 10.
Question 10.
Yep. I'm good.
Name the 3 teams who got relegated from the Championship last weekend. Or last week.
Relegated from the Championship.
Championship.
Oh, that's-
Now I want all 3 of them that got relegated.
Well, I didn't look that far down, you see, this season.
Oh, that was good. I like that one.
Aye.
I wasn't looking down there.
And all I know it was the teams who went down were in the relegation zone, were they? With like 5 games to go or something. You have to give me a bit of time this one.
Best hurry up, mate, 'cause we ain't got much time left. Which 3 teams got relegated from the Championship last
I've
week?
only got 2. I can only think of 2. And that's going to really annoy me. I know 2.
Oh no, they stayed up. They stayed up. Mine's gone blank. Really
That's
bad.
going to really annoy me. I've
What's
only
it?
got 2. I can only remember 2 of them.
Can't give you the point if you haven't got all 3, unfortunately. I want all 3 teams.
It's been tight.
You didn't give me a point for the other one, so I ain't giving you one for this.
I'm gonna have to leave it. I can't remember.
Right.
All right, Sass Queen. Yeah, I'm not got many points here.
Fair enough then, boys. Right, let's go through them then. Question 1. How old is Lewis Hamilton?
I said 29.
32.
You were close, 35.
35.
And these
But
bonus
he might
points.
feel 29, so
The
I have
bonus
a
point. Bonus point.
Our survey says.
Yeah, bonus point was 7th of January 1985.
I never would have got that.
Nah, fair enough. Question 2. Name 5 teams that Jimmy Bullard has played for.
See, I said Wigan.
That's one.
I've only got.
Hang on, alright, let's go with yours first.
Okay.
I literally said Wigan and Hull, but I think it was the Premier League he played Hull, wasn't it?
I only got 3: Fulham, Hull, and Wigan.
Fulham, Hull, Wigan, Ipswich, and West Ham.
Bloody hell, must be when he
You're
first
joking. I was going to put West Ham because that's where he started as well.
Sure did, mate.
Why didn't
Sure
I put
did.
that down?
No quoi.
What an idiot.
Question 3.
He came through at the same time as Lampard.
He did,
and that
mate, he did. And Joe Cole. Question 3. What is Chesterfield's nickname?
Spyright.
The Spy, right?
Sure is.
Up the iron. It's not that.
Question 4. Who won the Masters in 2018?
Rory McIlroy.
I've
Nope.
guessed that wrong. I couldn't add it.
Patrick Reed.
Good old Pat.
No idea.
No, fair enough. Question 5. Who won the Golden Boot in 2017-18?
I said Jamie Vardy.
Mo
Wrong.
Salah.
Correct.
Because that's why I asked you, was there more than one? Because last season was
Aubameyang
Vardy,
No, it wasn't. It was
Aubameyang,
Mo
Salah, and
Mane.
Mane.
Yeah.
They finished joint top scorer,
Sure
3
did.
of them.
I did.
And Salah had a ridiculous season the one
Point for
before.
you, Reece. Question 6. How big is an Olympic-sized swimming pool? Who wants to go first?
What did you put?
150 metres.
Wrong.
I put 50.
Did you?
Yeah.
Correct. 50
Ooh.
metres.
Look at that. I didn't even know what I was doing either.
Question 7. What team won the 2020 Super Bowl?
Fixed. Right, I've got 1 or 2. I'm just going to pick one. Dallas Cowboys.
I do. It was a team 49ers.
Kansas City.
Right, no idea.
No.
No.
Enough.
No.
Question 8.
These are
I
pants
just remembered the
questions,
second,
Bart.
I
These
just
are
remembered the
pants
second
questions.
one for the last one.
These are pants questions, Bart.
Terrible.
What is Notts County's ground called?
Meadow Lane.
Meadow Lane.
Sure
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I got that one.
Question 9. Who has won the most rugby Grand Slams?
England.
Wrong.
I put
I
South
know.
Africa.
Wrong. Wales.
I knew he was going to say Wales.
Wales are the most successful.
See,
team.
now on this one, I've remembered another one. I've got 2 on this last
I've
one.
only got 2.
Right, go on then. Name the 3 teams who got relegated from the Championship last
This is
week.
going to really annoy me
I
as
put
well.
Hull,
Yeah.
Charlton.
And
Because
it's a very tricky one, this.
I thought it was Barnsley, but they stayed up.
See, you got the one that I didn't.
Right,
yeah.
don't say anything. Who is it?
I've only got 2, but you've got one of them.
You said
that
Hull
I
and
didn't.
Charlton. Who's the other one? I can't give you a point if you don't get it, mate.
My head's gone mashed. I'll have to just pass it, mate. I
Right, I can't give you a
it.
point. I just
Well,
want
that's really annoying because he said one of the teams that I've forgot, and I've got one of the team that he's forgot.
which is...
Hull and Wigan.
Yeah, I can't give you
Wigan,
that.
Wigan only went down
Can't
as a
give you
result
that,
of that
so.
points
Who actually
deduction.
went down, though?
Hull, Wigan and Charlton were the
Charlton.
3 teams that went down.
And now the one that I missed was Charlton.
Yeah.
But were they in the relegation zone on the last game?
Charlton.
No,
was just
Charlton was
outside.
just outside, but Luton and Barnsley both picked points up.
That was it.
Which dropped Charlton into the
But
relegation.
then
zone.
Wigan only got relegated because of that points deduction.
Yes,
that
they did.
would've been
That was it. So, round up your scores in, boys. Let's get them in.
I
I
got
got
more than I thought.
1, 2, 3,
I got 3.
3 out of 10.
It's not bad, boys. Not
A
bad.
draw.
Good draw.
I like
We'll call
good
it
old
a draw,
stale,
boys.
Check on it,
Come
Carl.
on, boys.
Good old stale, mate.
So it's been a pleasure to have Carl on today.
Yeah, sure.
we
Thank
will
you for having me.
we will leave a link in the description box below, and for the Spotify users, we will be uploading that shortly.
Also, on the YouTube app, we will leave a link to Karl Morgan's fitness training down in the
Yes,
comment
we'll
section
also
below.
leave a link for that.
I didn't know we was going to do that, but we're going to do it.
We'll leave a link for our sponsor, sixmedia.co.uk. Massive thanks to Carl for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks to Sexy Samuel
As always,
for
mate.
showing up as per usual. And from me, Reece, it's au revoir.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Toodle pip.
Toodle pip.